In topic 2.3, we're going to talk about how to estimate the derivative of a function at a point. So let's review what we looked at in the previous topic, which was this critical idea, the limit definition of a derivative. Well, we said in topic 2.2 that we can find the derivative of a function. And I'll remind you, since this is kind of new here in our calculus endeavor, that the derivative of a function is a function itself that describes the rate of change of the original function. And so we can find that derivative using what we call the limit definition of the derivative. And that is that f prime of x, in other words, the derivative of f of x, is equal to the limit as h approaches 0 of the expression f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. And we saw through a couple of examples, this is a very tedious way of taking the derivative, but it verifies this connection between instantaneous rate of change, because it really is just taking a small change in x and looking at the rate of change over that interval. So we looked at that and we said, okay, well, it takes a while and there's a lot of algebra involved, but we can in fact take the derivative using this limit definition. So the question now is, what happens if this idea right here doesn't particularly work for us? What if we can't take the derivative with this definition? And I'll tell you that later on in this unit, we're going to learn a lot of techniques that make taking derivatives easier and efficient, and some of them are really neat the way that they work out for us. But right now, this is the only way we know to take a derivative. So what happens if we can't do this? That it's a function that maybe algebraically is not going to work well in this particular scenario. Well, we've got some ways that we can estimate a derivative. So we can estimate a derivative at a point. Really, we're going to focus on three main ways in this particular lesson. The first thing we're going to look at is how to do that from a table. After we look at it from a table, we're also going to look at it from a graph. And then lastly, after we've exhausted tables and graphs, we'll also see how technology can play a part in estimating the derivative at a point. And by technology, what I mean is a calculator. And so we'll be looking at that as well as a third example of how we can estimate the derivative of a function at a particular point.